Coffee's introduction into the global market has changed the way we think of geography, trade, and what is fair in major ways. Today, over 20 million rural families grow coffee for the world's consumption. Spread over 80 countries, they produce over 17 billion pounds of coffee. Their livelihoods collectively create one of the most valuable products of international trade. Coffee has been a major driving force behind European and American free trade agreements and their influence in developing countries. Some even claim that imperialism is still alive in the form of coffee growth, trade, and consumption. As consumers, do we have responsibilities for countries' problems a world away? If you consider the time-space convergence, their problems and development seem much closer to home.
Over half of the world's coffee farms are family-run, which develops a variety of issues. These farmers are dependent upon large-scale processors for access to the market, who force small growers to accept prices 50% below market value. The labor-intensive process creates incentive for farmers to have large families and keep their children out of school in order to help with harvesting the crop. Their small harvests inhibit them from getting bank loans to expand their farms.
Free trade is a market system in which goods and services flow freely within or among countries. This trade doesn't have the interruption of government restrictions, including tariffs, taxes, and trade barriers. Consumers have free access to the markets in which they are buying products from. Many people believe free trade lowers the prices of coffee by promoting competition. People who oppose free trade say that the competition can sometimes be unfair due to less strict labor laws. Free trade has also been said to be a race to the bottom, in which the producer's earnings are continually reduced and huge markups are placed on the coffee cherries, as you can see in the handout. Free trade reduces contact between the consumer and the producer. However, problems have not been ignored by consumers. Media, technology, and travel have increased the awareness of Western coffee drinkers to the problems of small coffee farmers. Trade organizations and conscious farmers first fair traded with low-income women and German World War II refugees, then developed humanitarian trade organizations such as Oxfam. Consumer consciousness is affirmed today with the Fair Trade Certified label created by a third-party labeling organization in 1997 by Transfair USA. Trade system seeks to return a larger portion of consumers' purchases of coffee directly back to the producers, who are the farmers and laborers. The system seeks to accomplish this by cutting out the intermediaries. All of the exporters, importers, and brokers are eliminated from the process. Since the organizations now undertake all of the costs, intermediaries, the higher price charged to consumers for fair trade coffee often does not translate into profits for the farmers and laborers. Therefore, fair trade ensures a minimum price to organizations of producers, not to the individual producers within these organizations. The fair trade minimum price guaranteed to farmers does not increase with the inflation and therefore continues to lose value.
The price of fair trade coffee is set above the global coffee market price, creating a price floor. This leads to an excess supply of fair trade coffee, and therefore a huge percentage of it goes without being purchased. Because of this, most fair trade producers only sell a fraction of their coffee in the fair trade market and endure whatever financial consequences in selling the remainder in the free trade market.
All of these issues need to be addressed before the fair trade system can be regarded as successful in fulfilling its outcomes of creating opportunities for these producers, developing honest and trustworthy relationships, supporting safe work conditions, and promoting environmental responsibility. Additionally, free trade coffee creates externalities that cause its system to be flawed. Loss of biodiversity, soil erosion, and lack of environmental stability are all problems of the coffee trade has exacerbated and even caused. Free trade is said to be the most efficient way to produce goods, but the system has no way to assure environmental and social protections.